Hi.
Hello.
All right, I think I got us unmuted. We should be good. Hi.
Sorry.
That's all right. I think it's my fault where I put the camera. Oh, I was going to put it in this one so that it wasn't. It's okay.
Oh.
It's all good. That's why
I was just putting it in your face.
I know, right? That's why I kept unthreading it because I was going to keep shooing it over. Oh my goodness. It's Tuesday afternoon. It's still
All right,
Tuesday.
everybody ready?
It has been one
Crazy week
day
so far.
Yes.
There you go.
So
Feel better?
I do. Like it's like having a fuzz, right? Yeah.
Okay.
What a day. So,
if it's been weird, it's happened here.
That's right.
It's just
so, I fully expect something to go wrong.
Did we change the needle?
I did not. I did this morning.
Yeah, and then we did sticky. Do you think
yes.
you're good?
You know what? Let's just change it. Let's get ahead of the game.
Because we're also doing
paper,
sticky. Which so I sometimes, if I'm going to be doing a lot of paper, I sometimes will do and have like a paper needle. So because it will definitely dull differently than it's just like your scissors that you don't let your kids cut
right
whatever else with on those. It's the same kind of thing.
Totally. So this morning someone asked us to talk about embroidering on paper. If you watched the OESD event that we had not too long ago,
I'm sorry.
They talked a lot about embroidering on cards and paper, and everybody does things a little different.
So the instructions on one designer's won't be the exact same as the instructions on another's, and so on and so forth.
on and so forth. Yeah.
So
we do have, and I think we have enough bobbin thread in there. So
that looks pretty good.
We thought we would talk about a couple of different things. So we prepped some cork, and Lisa cut it on the Scan and Cut. So we did a couple different shapes. That one is the top of a present.
This one is a present.
That's not the one we're doing.
No, but that's the piece that was readily
right there. Yes,
and it doesn't have.
The only one that doesn't boring. This one is a rectangle,
and a rectangle.
The other one is
so
just
this one. We're probably not going to get to all of these, but that way you guys can at least see the pre-cut and that way
pieces and the parts.
How easily that is. So there are SVG files with all of these.
How about if I switch to that camera right there?
Okay.
And you show some of the supplies underneath the camera so that they can see them. And they can see what we're using.
This is the CD that we are working off of. And if you were with us shopping last year, this was one of those that you could get for free by spending a little bit of money here. And we do have them obviously available still. So you can pick this up at a really nice price point. So you can purchase that little guy. So obviously you need something to stitch on. So this is just a plain white cardstock card. We have sticky stabilizer in the hoop. So this is tear away, not wash away. We're not going to wash our paper when we're done. Very, very important on that. We're not going to wash that away. And of course we have thread at the machine. And because this was a little bit heavier, I was not giving an extra thickness to this cork. Isn't this awesome? This is got a really, really awesome metallic thread through that. So really fun. And we put a spray adhesive on the back to kind of keep that in place because I didn't want to add extra thickness to that. So we've got that sprayed with some web bond. Unfortunately, I can't sell you this because they don't make that anymore. But if you don't have anything like that, we do, of course, have the 505 still here and available. That, of course, you just don't want to spray anywhere near your machine. But in the designs, when you purchase those, you get these really great pattern pieces. So you could pre-cut and do that. So basically that's what we did, but you also have SVG files. So we just popped that USB in and cut those pre-cut pieces for the files. So you can see that is right there. And I have a perfectly sized piece for that file. So when we get there, and I've got that sticky that's going to keep it hopefully right where we want it to be tacked down. So the way that these are is they have a really nice blanket stitch. So we're just going to place that right on that placement line, and it's going to have that nice stitch right around there to keep everything in place.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we've got hiding around here I need to show? So this is the card that we're going to be doing while we're stitching here today. So we've got some nice little snowflakes and swirls, I guess, for lack of a better name.
I just wanted to mention, if anybody thought that they really wanted that card bundle and they missed it.
Oh, yes.
That
we might have ordered
a couple dozen of those.
So we're going to bring those in. Our thought was to have some really great bundles to take to Novi.
Yeah.
But we'll probably have some at the store.
We're not sure when they're going to come in, but if you missed your chance and you're wishing you had, or even now after we're talking, you're wishing you had.
So, you know, after you see today, you were like, wow,
right,
I'm going to need to make my own cards this year.
Yeah.
We can totally help you out with that.
Absolutely. So, okay. I'm like, I wasn't really sure how the camera was going to work from over there. It's pretty zoomed in, but
really
it's all
way
right.
over there.
As
long as it stays there and not on my head.
It shouldn't be on your head. So
as long as I don't move, right?
Right. So this is designed, like she said, to be done on some sort of a sticky stabilizer. And we talked this morning about the differences in design manufacturers and how they break down their written instructions. So these are really simple. And this is like a traditional information that people are kind of used to. You know, this is going to tell us what each step is. There isn't a visual picture of what each step. It's so just
you don't
a verbal...
get a step 1, do this picture. You get a step 1 card placement guide. Step 2. So you get a full picture of what it will look like in the end, and then a color, and then what to do at each color stop.
Right. So the first thing is for us to actually give us our placement line for the card and hit the embroidery button.
Those little things.
So I can have my green button.
Oh, look at that. I didn't rip enough.
This is an actual 5x7 design, so it really does take
fill that whole hoop.
The whole hoop. I didn't mention that, but there's still going to be plenty of sticky.
It'll hold it. Yes. Woo. Is this big enough? Okay, just checking.
I did measure it, so but I thought the same thing when I was
really big.
I was holding this piece up, going, "How is this going to fit?" But it's this way.
All right, so we literally are going to line the corners of our card up with. That exact stitch line, and then press that into place.
Mm-hmm. And the next thing that it's going to do is the outline for the placement of our little hill. So I'm going to suggest that we rethread
see that
to the red. And as Lisa said, we have sprayed the back of that so that it will stick down.
That's the idea.
This wouldn't be easy to, like, you couldn't really tape this down.
No, and not and have it not stuck in your stitches.
Right.
So either using fabric, which is not a cork or something to that effect. So that has an applique backing that has that sticker built into it.
Face. That's all right. I totally
can't see it from where we're at.
Right.
It's all good. Thread.
Thank you.
That's not the thread button on this machine.
Not. My brain just does not want to.
It is totally the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're
Wow.
both cooked.
It's been crazy.
So that popping noise is from the paper. There's nothing wrong with your machine.
Paper is just noisy.
Paper is noisy. There is no way to get around that noise. So we have our beautifully cut piece of stuff here. So this is a gorgeous cork, and it's going to sit exactly in that line. And for all of you who have been scan and cut veterans, you're probably thinking to yourself, how much did I change the size of that design? I did not. This is exactly the size that was on the stick. I did not bump it even a little bit.
All right.
All right.
So now it's going to do a blanket stitch around the outside of the edge. And this is really going to be a good place for us to find out if we actually have the right type of needle in here. So
we'll find out.
We are using like a 7511 embroidery needle, and it is possible that it might not be the right one. It
might not be heavy enough.
Right,
for all of
because
this.
we have the cork, we have the paper, and we have sticky stabilizer underneath it. This is one of those things where sometimes you just have to be prepared to waste a little bit, because we don't really know until we actually try it.
Yep.
So we're going to hit go, and
there really isn't a way to test this without doing it.
No.
You know, we can have our
it's actually pretty good.
It looks like fine.
Yeah. So OESD is kind of like queen of the pre-cut, I always call them. They've been doing their applique pieces where they give you that PDF file for you to trace and cut ahead of time, and or the SVG files, because they do a lot of designs that are designed for you to have your stuff pre-cut. Like this particular design does not have a cut line in it. It has a tack down and it has your finish. So if you were doing this with something and you were trying to trace around that, you would
have to back up. And
to be perfectly honest with you,
it's not going to work exactly right, because you would have a little bit of an overhang.
That's right, because you wouldn't be able to trim right at that line.
But that looks really good.
And so your blanket stitch would end up being over the fabric of the edge. Yes.
So this really is a cut it first project.
Yes. All right. And so the next one is white.
So
we have a white around here, but I don't know.
Nice.
But I think this will be okay.
That'll show up beautifully. So it's perfect. Don't tell anybody that's not white. They won't know.
It's like off-white.
It's natural is what that is. That's the name of that, is natural. Yes. And how often do you actually see super white snow?
Right? Well, not usually.
It's always got mud and
right.
All right. So this is just a quick few minutes.
Yeah.
So when you are doing any sort of applique card.
Yeah.
So we've got paper that we need to make work. And we have, in this case, cork. So cork is super stable. So it's really easy to make these stitches come out nicely. So how can you do it wrong, right?
Right.
Let's talk about that too. And at the same time, we've got a question up here. So you are very, very welcome. Do you need to slow down your machine when sewing on paper?
So let's clap that up so everybody can see. So we addressed the needle.
Yep.
We're using we're actually using a Class A 7511 embroidery needle, and Lisa and we don't slow down. We stitch full speed ahead.
You betcha. So I don't know if you noticed, when it was coming around this corner, the machine slowed down. We didn't tell it to do that. The machine does that all on its own. And that is one of those things that I just love about these machines, is they are smart enough that without that being programmed in by us, the machine slows down on its own.
Yep.
So why should you slow it down? Because it's going to do it all by itself. And hopefully you guys can hear us talking over the machine popping through all of that paper on there. But it's a smart machine, and you need to let it do its thing. So full speed ahead. Absolutely.
Yep.
There is very, very few times that I actually have slowed down my machine. And that is usually like I have a recipe for disaster underneath my needle.
Yeah.
The needle, the thread, the fabric, like the whole combination is just asking for it to blow up in my face.
Yes.
Then I might slow it down to give it that extra. But even then, I'm going to try it
was just going to say, you and I are both going to try it first.
Once it breaks the thread like 5 times, then maybe I'll slow it down. But I'm going to try it first.
Yeah.
But it's gotta tell me that it needs to be done.
And I was going to say, and keep in mind, you and I know that we are using good quality products. So we know that we have thread we can trust. We know we're using good needles.
Yep.
We know that the material that we have underneath our machine is good. And we know that the design came from a place that is reputable.
Right.
So our recipe has set us up for success.
Right.
We just, we sometimes you do need all the stars to align.
Absolutely. So, when I say that I've got a disaster waiting to happen, it's got to be
right.
There's got to be lots of things telling me, okay, don't move, don't walk away, don't, there's got to be a lot, because I do walk away from my machine all the time. And I know that there's a lot of you who won't do that. But that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I'm either going to go to another machine. I'm going to get up and go do something. I've got lots of toys in my room. Yeah. I don't need to sit and watch this one work. No. I can go do something else.
Right. Plan another machine.
Play on something else, or plan something else, or, get something prepped for the next time, or whatever that happens to be. So, this is just a standard embroidery needle, and it's working very, very well. So, but you might need to sit and watch first and say, how does that look?
Right.
Before you get up and walk away to go do whatever else you wanted to go and do.
And like we said at the beginning, right? We started with a fresh needle, because why tempt fate?
We're talking about $1.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe not even $1, depending upon what brand you buy. Yeah. And what type it is that you've got, a top stitch, or some of those specialty needles are going to be a little bit more expensive, but the Class A embroidery needles are what, 6 for $5.50 or something like that. So they're not even $1. It's not worth the stress, guys. Swap out the needle.
Right.
Put the fresh one in there. It's totally not worth wasting. That cork's more expensive.
Way more expensive.
Way more expensive. So put in the right stuff to get off started.
And we wasted 2 pieces before we got it right.
Totally did. And
that's the thing. I mean, we don't make things because it's less expensive. That is not part of our vocabulary anymore.
But honestly, if that is the goal, is how inexpensively can you make something, you're probably not going to be happy with it when it's done, because the pieces that went into it are going to be an inferior product. It's going to spit out an inferior product. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be frustrated.
Right. We don't like to tell people that the reason that your project isn't working is because the supplies that you have in the machine are not appropriate for...
Because we know you don't want to hear it. But unfortunately, sometimes that's the answer.
It is.
And it can be frustrating to hear, but
it can be.
Sometimes that's the answer. But, so we currently have exquisite thread in. We have like $50 a yard cork on here. We've got basic, very inexpensive paper. Right. This was out of one of those like royal card boxes, I think, if I remember right. And a really nice sticky stabilizer. So
we set ourselves up for
success. And in general, if you take that effort to do so, you are going to come away well. Right. If this was a standard fabric instead of cork, as long as we prepped that fabric to be able to absorb all of those stitches, you're still going to be fine. So what I mean by prepping is pressing, probably starching. This is going to be our gold, I believe.
Which would have been blue, but
we're going to go gold to pull out the gold in the, Just trying to, look at that arm. Here, I'm going to let you reach there.
Okay. Then I do it backwards.
Nobody could have seen that. Why you got to tell them?
Right.
They don't know.
It's because I'm used to looking at the camera, right? Everything's always backwards.
They think we're perfect. You should totally let them think that. Oh. Movie magic, right?
Movie magic.
It's just perfect all the time. So if we had put that on there, so what does that mean, prepping that fabric? That would have needed to have sticky stabilizer or fusible on the back. So it would have needed to have that fusible web. So an applique wonder, fusible applique, one of those type. What's the OESD's name?
It's not Fusion Stick.
No, it's not. Something web.
Yeah, I totally blanked on
Sorry, but there is obviously a OESD version as well. So something that you would iron to the back of your fabric, then cut for the applique, and then place in here by taking off that paper backing, which basically shows the sticker that you would then be able to place it and have it stay in place while that blanket stitch was stitching.
Right.
So, oh, this is really pretty.
And you might not be able, we'll show you the card a little bit better in a minute, but when this card was originally digitized, those stitches are huge. Those are like a 3.5 millimeter long stitch, so that it doesn't actually just perforate right through the card. So it's not like we took some
random design and threw it on a card.
Right.
Because that won't work, unfortunately.
No.
There are some that would, but not all designs. So I've done some other cards. At the time, I didn't own any OESD cards. I believe they were probably a Need a Good design because that was what most of my stash designs were at that time. And they were like that, very large, like a triple stitch, heavy, large stitching. And I was making graduation cards because it was one of the years that my kids graduated, which meant I knew like every other kid that was graduating. So of course we got invited to everything. And we had to go to so many parties. I would have gone broke, and Hallmark was making it out really good that year. Right. So nope, I wasn't helping Hallmark out. I made all of those. And instead of just making them plain, I put the kids' names on the cards. So I was using a font that was in, and I had to be very careful which font that I chose because otherwise it basically just put a hole in the card.
Right.
So those kinds of things.
I don't know if I want those last snowflakes to be red, but I also don't think I want them to be white because you won't see them.
Do we want to leave gold?
Do you want to leave gold, or I wonder, there's a silver over here.
We can try silver.
Add a little silver. Want to try that?
We can try anything. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let's get this out of the way.
So Marilyn also asked, would you be able to use paper where we have the cork? Absolutely. But keep in mind that not all paper is going to work. So it does need to be a thicker style paper. The more linen, the better, because it will, it has more fabric pieces in it, for lack of a better word, less pulp, more fabric. So that will give you a better end result.
See what happens.
But these cards, the stitching is very light and airy, so it would definitely support different styles of fabric or any stable medium, really.
Yep. And again, you would want a spray adhesive to hold that in place for that blanket stitch.
Yeah.
It would be just like what we were doing here.
Right.
It certainly would not stay put all on its own. So, but for that, you could use a standard glue stick or something.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have to be as fabric based because it's not fabric.
Right.
So you could, that looks actually really nice.
It's really cute. Yeah.
It kind of picks up, it looks kind of white, makes these look more silver.
Silvery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That looks cool. So, what you need to be careful when you're doing these, you can certainly pull in other designs to add to or make adjustments or whatever, but you need to make sure that they are going to be open and not block in a whole bunch of stitchers in any one spot, because you will actually get a hole where that part of the card just falls apart.
Right.
By putting fabric in where it just is tacking down that fabric, it's going to help hold that together because it kind of fills the hole before you've made it.
Yeah.
But you do need to make sure that you are being really careful. So if you are going to do something like personalizing, you know, maybe even like this one says from our house to yours, you could put a name or something in there, you know, from, you know, the Kaiser household or whatever it happens to be. You have to be,
got a lot of letters,
it
doesn't
does.
it? You got to be careful.
You got to be really careful. It's hard to fit in a lot of stuff there.
Right.
Not so bad when you're using like craft vinyl because
Right. It doesn't matter.
it just cuts it,
Cuts
you slap it on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah. But anyway, just be really careful that you are choosing open, and you know, that might be one of those things that you choose the lesser dense option. So lowering the density so that they are a little bit more open. You certainly don't want to increase the density on anything like that. So fabric will certainly help be able to add more to the card because it's going to give it more of a base to actually stitch on. That actually added, that was good.
Sometimes I get it right.
How about that? How about that?
All right.
That cork looks really, really good.
That was a good choice. That not bad for, like, literally we just sort of threw
it was
that
kind
together.
of like we were both in the middle of like 3 other things and trying to here, I'm going to cut this while I'm talking to this customer and doing this other stuff.
But
and,
so cork, the vinyl, the OESD vinyl, we have probably a ton of time, so we could
probably
put the vinyl one in, even if we just did like the outline piece. I just need to I hooped it upside down because
I see.
I didn't re-hoop.
I got you. I can fix that.
You can. I know.
Excuse me.
You got my hand.
I got you.
Yeah. So Lisa's going to re-hoop, and we're gonna show you the new OESD vinyl. I do. Right here. So now to finish this, you have a couple of choices. So the back, I'll show you the back here. I used regular just bobbin thread in the back, nothing special. Now, literally what I usually do is I just trim the sticky around the outside of the card, and then I just leave it stuck to the back.
Yep.
And then if you want to, you can put like some decorative cardstock on the inside.
That's what I generally do. Is I just take some cardstock and
and just
the size of the card that piece and fill it, or maybe just slightly smaller,
right?
So it doesn't overhang off the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So and that is really how easy it is. You do not want to like pull your card off like you do regular stabilizer. From that, it's going to rip your card. So definitely take the time to just trim that off on the outside. You will be much happier that you did this. Now, if you're making your own cards, you could make your card just a tad bit taller and wider so that you could trim a little bit of that down to the size that you wanted to. And then you wouldn't have to worry about there being any little
choking myself
blobs on the edge.
Or today. Sarah's not doing it. I'm doing it myself.
Well, you can't be mad at me if you do it to your... Well, you can, but...
Try to blame you. I mean, hey. What are friends for?
What are friends for? Okay, so let me pull up the other design.
Pull up that other design, and we're going to have to get creative on thread choices because we didn't think we were going to move quite so fast today. So the other option, and maybe you said this and I totally missed it, was to stitch just on like a size like that and then glue that on.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you say that?
I did not. No, so, I didn't get that far.
Instead of stitching on this, you would just have a separate piece that was this size and then put your adhesive of whatever sort and stick it to the front of the card, and then you are already hiding all of your stitches. They would just be behind there, and
Yeah,
you don't
and
have
you'd be
anything.
good to go.
And you'd be good to go.
Right.
So in that aspect, you would, have all of your card blanks, and then just buy some card stock, or you could have multiples of these, slice them down the middle, and one stack be for card fronts and one stack be for actual cards.
Yeah. And
so
probably, as much as I love purple, I probably wouldn't have necessarily picked this purple one for my Christmas card.
No.
No. But and probably the only reason is because there's holly leaves on there, and I'm not really sure how they're going to show up with. But I think maybe we just do them in white.
We can do that,
because I don't know that I have a green that will look nice with that purple.
Oh,
I mean, at home I do. In my little arsenal of threads in the corner here.
So which glue do you use for the added card stock on the back? So I would recommend something from a scrapbooking point of view versus from a sewing point of view. So any craft glue that you happen to have your hands on.
Yeah, or those little tape guns.
The tape guns. So for me personally, I scrapbook. So I have the tape runners from like Creative Memories. You can get any of those type of things from Michael's, Joann's, those kind of things. You can actually pick up lots of stuff even from Walmart's and Meijer's and things like that. Tape gun. You can but quite frankly, even a standard glue stick, if you just did a rectangle and got the outside corners and then maybe a swipe down the middle, would be able to do a fairly decent job.
Don't use like Elmer's or an Elmer's glue stick. They it won't I mean it'll hold for a little while, but it won't hold for a long time.
And I wouldn't use like Elmer's glue because it would actually give you a ridge. You would see the ridge underneath of it. It'll leave a bump. So
we're placing that on the design again.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were telling me I was doing it wrong.
No.
I was like, what?
I was just telling them what
I was doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were saying like, don't do what you're doing.
No.
Like, wait, what? All right. So that gave us that outline on the stabilizer that we just line up the corners. And now what's going to happen is it's going to give us the outline for where to put our, I think that's perfect.
Good.
Good answer, Lisa. Good answer. We're on Family. What is that? Family Feud. That was right. Yep. Good answer. Oh, gotta love it.
Yeah. So we're going to be using.
This is the new Luxe.
Right. Which is
vinyl from.
Don't go too far. From OESD.
OESD.
And this is different than the Kimberbell vinyl because it's not
This
fusible.
Is not heat activated or anything of the like.
So it has a.
This is so much fun. There we go.
There.
Very pretty.
And then flip it over so they can see that white backing on there. So that is.
This is just a fabric backing. It is not fusible. There's nothing there. I don't recommend putting your iron on either side of this beautiful stuff. So this is super hard to get in line with where I want to be. Trying to get that light to hit it just right.
Would it be easier on the other camera?
Probably.
Okay, I'll go there.
Like, where's the light? How am I doing?
Pretty good. Tip it back a little bit flatter. That's good.
So that is the new stuff, and it comes in a variety of colors. This is on our website. It is, of course, in store, so you could come feel it. We do have a sample already out, and after today, we'll have a second one. So you can come and actually fondle it and see what's going on there.
That's right.
And
you'll be able to see our cool card. We'll put
absolutely
it next to it.
Cool card. I am going to hit this with some sticky. It's the Spider-Man spray.
But you could also use a glue stick for this as well.
I didn't do as good as you.
Did you fail?
I evidently fail at glue spraying. Went all over the sides.
All
too.
right. So let's get ourselves the placement line. So you don't have to say.
Let's just say I am also being glued to the card.
That's fantastic.
That's just awesome. Right in the middle.
In the
Go
middle.
ahead.
Do you think we'll finish?
Where's the stupid sensor? Where's the sensor?
You haven't made it to that screen yet. I heard what you were saying. You just needed to keep going. There we go. Now,
turn that back on. Swap that puppy out, and I will get this stuck.
Okay.
To the hoop instead of to me.
To you? You don't want to be stuck to you?
It's stuck on me pretty good. It really likes me. It really likes me.
All right. Ta-da!
All right.
Yes, we were playing Bob and Chicken. We didn't win. We had to change it.
We won. It made it. We just had to
That
turn
far.
the sensor off.
All right. So, again, we haven't really stitched on this, so we're hoping our needle is the right style of needle. We're both like, is it working? It is. Woo.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Blue there.
I bet like a black bobbin would, or black bobbin, a black
thread.
thread for this would look really nice too. So you could kind of really see.
Kind of get that pop instead of the blend.
Yeah. Kind of like old fashioned, like the hand look blanket stitch.
Come on over. You want to show that instead of.
Oh, yeah. They come out nice.
Really nice on a parchment colored card.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, not that. So in looking back, maybe $50 a yard cork is not the best thing to put on cards that you want. How expensive do we want our Christmas cards to be?
I mean, you know, if you're only giving one or two, I would give you a $50.
I would
card.
Absolutely do that. So
right?
for the people that you really care about,
but not for the people.
For those you want to send the very best to.
Right? Which we accept.
Absolutely. Especially with Starbucks coupons in it, right? Or gift cards. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Right. That's totally worth the cork.
All right. So
okay. So we've got that all tacked down. So now we've got some card decor corners. I think maybe the gold or silver.
Maybe a light purple. What do you think? No, that doesn't look well.
Not that one.
Gold it is. All right, so there can be no judgment about our colors.
We did not plan this ahead of time. This is grabbing whatever we have next to us.
That's right.
And,
so we're working with like the 9
the bare minimum
shaped
odd
colors.
Shaped?
Yes, that one was a really odd shaped spool. The orphans. We have orphan threads over here.
Silver and gold. Pop, 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 pop.
Looks pretty nice.
And working its way down. So
love a good triple stitch.
It does look really nice.
And it's so straight in the embroidery machine. When I'm top stitching sometimes I just wish I could put it in the embroidery machine because it would be so straight.
So what would you not want to put in a card? Let's see. Well, so we talked about, some designs are just not going to work. So anything that's super stitch intensive, not a good idea.
Right.
Let's maybe not stitch my cord in. What do you think?
I mean, it survived the other one, so I think we just.
Sorry, it's getting the air underneath in there, and it's just making some extra popping. So sorry, I'm just pushing that down a little bit.
It might not be that bad because
it's really loud.
Of our mics being over here.
Hopefully.
Yeah. That's what happens sometimes when you're playing with paper.
Paper is a noisy stitch.
It is.
Doesn't matter what you do.
No.
But that should help. And maybe not.
This part is almost done.
So an open airy stitch, if you are looking to just get creative and find random things that you want to do on paper or whatnot, open and airy is definitely the way to go. Nothing super dense.
Avoid satin stitches.
Avoid satin stitches. You will definitely be a little frustrated with how things turn out. So now we need to stitch house right on there. So I'm thinking,
yeah,
that's going to pop really nice. And then maybe silver for the words, the other words.
Yeah, from our
to yours. And
at first I thought from ours to yours, and I just didn't. Yeah, but that I totally
and then
because it says house in the middle, it totally makes sense.
Totally does. There's a dark green in the blue bag over
the
there.
wrong color. There is a dark green. Oh, you want to try that for the holly? Okay. Yeah, that might work.
In this way, from the Leabu housework place, you would understand that we all love purple. Even Gene, evidently, he's starting to wear pastels.
I wore purple today, and I matched my glasses
So
with purple.
I did notice.
Yeah,
I like the glasses a lot.
Did you order Caitlin's glasses yet?
No. Bad mom. I am a bad mom.
No, you're a good mom. Just busy.
Exhausted. I literally all last night. I just was like, feed your children before you pass out. That was last night.
I know those 7. It takes a little while to get used to those 7 a.m. starts.
I was okay
until 6.
Until it was 6:15 before I left. Yeah. That was the holy crap moment. That I really wish there was somebody at home.
Yeah.
That was making dinner for me. That I would just walk in and it would be served to me. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
But
I think. Do we have a fabric rec coming tomorrow morning?
Maybe.
Is tomorrow Motomark? Or is that in August?
Like that's not in I think that's later.
Later? Okay. I couldn't remember if it was July or August.
I don't think it's July. I guess we better look.
I'll be here regardless.
I don't think I'm gonna.
That's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. If he's coming, I'll be here. But anyway, so open airy designs, and even this, you guys can, I think, see how it's stitching it. There are, it's basically running stitches next to one another. It is not a satin stitch, so it looks heavy, but it's not. So even with the support of this extra here, it's still not a really dense stitch on there. It just looks like it might be. It's very, very smartly done, which I would think nothing less than the best from OESD, but this is really sharp. Very, very well done.
Super cute.
Brighter red.
Yeah.
There's one in the kit too. There should be two in there unless we've removed them. Is it
I think that one.
green's next? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So now we've got some holly leaves.
So Shirley wants to know, could you use King Star metallic thread?
Absolutely.
Of course you can.
So, you know, King Star works pretty much just like your regular thread. So there are very few times that you can't use King Star in place of something else. You may want to babysit a little bit in some things. Sometimes when you have sticky, you might run into a little bit more issues than others.
Yeah.
So you might want to babysit a little bit more, but absolutely no reason that you can't use it. But you may get a little bit of breakage because of it sticking in the stabilizer.
Yeah.
Just as a heads up. It's a little darker than I thought it was going to be.
That's all right. I told them there could be no judgment on our colors.
Yes, and I'm holding them to that. Hello, South Dakota.
Right? Florida, South Dakota, all those warm places.
It's pretty warm out there.
Yes. 84 and sunny. I think summer finally came. Took a while this year.
That Lux vinyl is gorgeous.
It is. I have a laundry list of things that I want to actually sew that do not involve a computer. And I just have not
Yeah,
I haven't sewn sewn.
keep thinking, you know, I'm going to take my computer home and I'm going to do this while I'm watching TV or something. Yeah, that just, I'm flipping the switch and saying I'm done.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. But I have so many things I need to do. It's just scary. And unfortunately, none of the personal things I want to sew is happening. I'm sure you guys can maybe relate to that. It's so hard to get
Right.
home.
I know. Well, and I think that it's funny because, you know, everybody just assumes because we work here that it's not, you know, we basically work a full-time job here. And so stuff that doesn't relate to work is just, you know, there are not enough hours in the day.
There are not. And, you know, quite a bit of the sewing that we do at home is actually for here.
Yeah.
We don't have as much personal sewing time as you would think. Yeah, so even these leaves are, and they are not showing up on film super great. It looks nice actually, but it's not bright. It's dark enough on film that you can't see super well. Would a red work? Yes. You want to pop that one? So red work, black work, white work, all of those that are something color work designs should be actually a really nice type of design. So absolutely, Marilyn, that would be a great design choice.
And especially if you are using some sort of, there's something stable underneath your project. So red work designs, that the stitching can be really stitch intensive. Like they can be more than just a triple stitch. True. So if you have, that might be an instance where I might use, we were talking about other stabilizers, that if I were going to do like a red work design that looked stitch heavy and maybe I wasn't using something like this, or something, it was just on the card, that sticky cutaway stabilizer would be a really good choice.
It would be a nice choice, yeah.
Because it would give your fabric a little bit, it would give
more support.
Your card more fabric support. To be able to handle something that could potentially rip. And so while that won't perforate through, that back and forth movement of those red work designs, it can rip the card.
Right.
So that's what you have to be careful with when you're using a design that wasn't originally designed for a card.
So there are some really kind of cool designs that are actually designed for cork, for this type of fabric, that are the larger stitches, that are open, airy designs, that are not termed or red work or anything else. They're just an open and airy design.
Yeah.
And there's some really great ones out there. We did, we didn't end up doing them on cork. They were cork designs that we ended up doing on a mouse pad a couple years ago. And they turned out really, really great. But stuff like that, when you're going through your pile, I know you guys might have one or two designs that you haven't stitched yet, maybe just a couple here or there. But you know, there's certainly, do we need another color?
Yeah, it's pink.
Pink.
I have pink right there.
I don't care. Pick a color, any color. No judgment, right, guys? Yeah, those aren't my favorite attachment.
No, I really wish they had a different bottom, but it is what it is.
Wish I had a different bottom.
Me too. Working on my new bottom.
Working on that. It's not getting very far, but
right?
Yeah.
The rain really has made it hard to like walk outside.
Yeah. Can't even walk up my driveway. It's just this big mud
puddle. Yeah.
Yup.
Can't really tell that's pink.
I say, it doesn't look very pink.
It looks a lot like the white.
It surely does.
That's all right.
Just slightly different. But yeah, so we were discussing the bases of the thread in how different companies have different ways to keep your thread from unraveling on the spools. And this particular spool doesn't have our favorite attachment.
Yeah.
No names though, just not our favorite.
Yeah.
They have other ones. It's funny. They're not all the same. And it's not even like a new color versus an old color, or it's just different. It's very strange.
Well, we are almost done, which is good because we're almost
out of time.
Yeah.
So we have only a couple minutes of stitching left. So a couple more little dewdrops of whatever this is.
I don't know, but it's cute.
It is.
It is cute.
It'd be a nice display for the wall.
Right.
It'll look really good up there next to his
wallet. No, bag, zippered pouch thing,
whatever that is.
Yeah.
So,
were we doing black?
we were going to do silver.
Silver. Thank you. I've already forgotten. All right. So we are on our last color for the second card here. And again, just make sure that you are picking an appropriate style design for your cards. And then, you know, you can always experiment. So you don't necessarily have to put fabric on the card. If you wanted to experiment with different types of paper. So you could just stick the paper down and just do the design part without the applique piece. So you could get an idea of whether or not, you know, your card is going to work for you.
Right.
And then you wouldn't have to worry about, you know, ruining that $50 a yard cork.
Is that one really 50? I think we're embellishing just a little bit. It's close, but is it 50? Yeah, I wasn't sure. There's some that isn't.
I mean, it was only a 6-inch piece of it, so in the big picture, it still wasn't.
You could make a lot of cards out of a 6-inch piece.
That's right.
You could probably do at least 8, 6,
Yeah.
8, something like that. It wasn't a very big piece.
No.
But yeah, so I guess our point is you don't have to use the most expensive thing you can find on your cards to make them beautiful cards. It's just a matter of, I can't take it. It's just too much. I can't do it.
Right.
But you can do so many different things, and there are really nice packages. As we started talking about, I know a lot of you guys kind of came in. A couple of you said, came in late, kind of thing. So we did an OESD, which is who's the designer of these cards that we're doing today. They did an event for us just last week, and there was this really great bundle which had cards, the stabilizer, and some design packages all in one bundle. And we have ordered some of those bundles to be able to have available because it was such a really great bundle. And we saw a lot of orders coming through that many of you purchased that bundle, but for those of you who missed it, we did get some.
Yeah.
So don't know when they're going to get here because we didn't get any word as to when that would become available to us, but we did order them. So something that's coming at some point anyways. And of course, we'll let you know as soon as they are here.
Absolutely.
So cards are something that, as you can see,
pretty simple
are
to
very
do.
simple to do.
Yeah.
Once you have the right stabilizer and, cards, that's really what you need, because you don't have to have the applique pieces. But even if you do, just make sure that you are doing, in this case, that pre-cut.
Yep.
Because these specific cards are not your traditional applique.
Right.
There is no placement. And then,
or make sure you skip over that part.
Exactly, which you can skip it and then just stitch directly on the paper themselves if that's what you're choosing to do, and have the thread tell the story instead of the fabric. So, absolutely. You certainly can do it that way.
And I know Evelyn is asking what we put to cover on the stitches. If you came in late, you probably didn't hear that. So we're kind of at the end of our hour here. So if you go back and rewatch the video, we discussed that, but you have lots of options.
Yes, absolutely.
And depending on where you got your card from, you might even have some decorative options to print off to cover the back.
Yep. A lot of places, when you buy the cards, they provide kind of a PDF or a JPEG or something or other version for you to be able to print to cover up the stitches.
Yep. Sometimes they even say like Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever for the other side of your card. So,
but if you're anything like me, I have piles of cardstock at my house. So some of them are printed and fun, and some of them are plain, and it doesn't really matter. So that is the completion. So even with our yakking and not having prepared the second one at all, we were able to finish those two in under an hour. So you can see it's not hard at all. So pretty straightforward and super, super cute.
Yeah.
So again, this is the sticky tearaway. And Sarah made a really good point that if you are doing something with something you need a little bit more support for, you could use that sticky cutaway that we all kind of don't know why we have sticky cutaway. really, really good place to use that for. So a nice thing. And again, a really fun way to use some of those a little bit different products that we kind of like, how can I use this?
Exactly. And if you make bags or you do lots of different things, sometimes you find yourself with all of these random pieces of scraps. Like, I can't throw it away, it's too big to throw away.
It's too big to throw away, but I don't know what
am I going to do with it. So
this could be a great
that's right. You might find that these pieces work well in your little cards. And this was a large chunk, but there are pieces that use smaller versions.
I mean, this is not a very big piece.
No. But you can't do much with it.
But if you have a scan and cut, it can find that, so you can get your piece fit inside of those. You can scan your mat and see exactly where, and then you can rotate and get those to fit in there. So it's definitely not a challenge to make those things work. So
no.
What are you trying to do?
Oh, was just
find the right mouse.
Right.
So many things.
So many things. Yes.
So that is what we've got for you today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And So today's Tuesday afternoon. We will be live again on Friday morning to do Finish Up Friday for the Bella Box. If you would like to join us, we will be here at 9 a.m. and doing the create banner and the bookmarks. So we will be doing those again Friday morning. And yeah, that's what's going to be happening. So thanks for joining us this afternoon. Hope you enjoyed it. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. You guys have a good one. Take care. Bye.